Boys and girls, this is the work of Mark Rothko, and he did styles of paintings where he made big sections of different colors. And what's fun is when you just sit and look at his paintings, it evokes kind of different feelings or reactions, or people just see or assign different meaning to it. When I was in college, I needed to be very careful how I spent my money. But when I went to a museum and saw this painting by Mark Rothko, I said, I am going to splurge. And I bought it. And I still have it because it meant so much to me at the time. So there is another example of his art. And what I want us to do right now is to think about color and emotion. And I'm going to have you look carefully at these 10 paintings. I'm going to name an emotion, and I want for you to hold up the number of fingers that correspond to the painting that you think best shows that emotion. So if you think it's number 4, then you're going to show me 4 fingers. Let's try it here. Show me the number, using your fingers, of which one of these paintings to you shows being calm. Great. Now look at these, and how about the word annoyed? Show me the numbers on your fingers of which painting you think shows annoyed. How about cheerful? Is there one on here that feels cheerful to you? Show me your fingers. And then lastly, what about scared? With your fingers, show me which one you think seems a little bit like someone's scared. Well, this idea of using colors has been studied all throughout the world for a very long time, that people think of color as having a different feeling. What's interesting is that not everyone agrees, because for some people, purple is a feeling that maybe is different than feeling powerful or wanting to learn. And for example, here, someone on here said that orange is a feeling of being afraid. Whereas on this one, it says orange means you're feeling confident. You've watched movies before where they show you different characters with feelings and also give colors. But maybe those colors, that green doesn't mean disgust. Maybe for you it feels positive, like you're in nature. There's even a book called The Color Monster, and it also has these little monsters having different feelings. And the illustrator chose colors that to them match the feelings. But for you, it might be different, and that's fun. And that's why you're going to be making a color monster today. So boys and girls, we already discussed that nowadays there are a lot of ways that people are trying to have you get in touch with your emotions and to be able to name them. So one of those that I'd like for you to explore today is what we called our color monster. Now, when you draw it, I want for you to start with the horns right here. That's going to make sure that you don't get too wide or too skinny on here. And then you can just go ahead and do those zigzags along the top. Then you're going to do the fur going along the side. Be careful to make sure that you leave plenty of space for your arms. So I'm just going to go like this. And if you're confused on how that goes, you can just look at any of these to see how they did that. You really can't mess up. Some of yours might end up being really long. Some of them might end up being kind of squatty, but that's the fun of it, is that they're all supposed to look different. And then once you get this far, you're going to do this. If you go ahead and start on your own, which is great, this right here should be what's going to help you out. You're basically just starting with those horns and the sides. After this is where you are going to start adding things. Some people like to start with an emotion and try and make it match. Other people just like to draw what the things, the ingredients that they like, and then try and match it to an emotion. I'm going to try doing that. I kind of like these closed eyes, so I'll try that. But I could also add like some angry eyebrows to being mad. Then if I do a sad face, I might even have it go all the, ooh, okay, something interesting is happening here. So all of a sudden, he's looking, ooh, maybe I'm gonna put his arms down like this, like he's like, he's got his arms going down. Okay, so you can probably even hear from my voice what this guy is now saying to me. Maybe I'll even have his feet coming out like that. Okay, so if I decide that he's looking mad, I would love for you to use this. This section is mad here. And I would love for you to use words that are a little bit more complex than mad. Right here we have hostile, enraged, agitated, furious, hateful, disgusted. Furious. So I'm going to write that right up here. Now, do not worry about if you do furious and then after that you're like, no, I think I'm going to have him be offended. Don't worry about that, because at the very end, we're going to be cutting the whole thing out. This will just help you remember the emotion that you were trying to go for, and it's never even going to show. So after this, now I have to decide what color is offended. I feel like it might be a little bit orangey reddish, maybe, with some, with a little bit of like lime green in there. Now, the way that the color monsters are colored in, I love it. They do a real scribbly thing on here. Now, my eyes are closed, so I don't need to worry about it. If you do have eyes that are open, you're gonna want to avoid trying to color that in. But with my offended color, I think I'm gonna start with a red. And what's so fun is that you're just going to scribble. There's no like, I mean, unless that's the look of your color monster. But you're going to just scribble on here nice and hard. Now, I had also mentioned that I felt like my offended might have a little bit of lime green. Some kids even put them together like this, and then they went like this. Ooh, yeah, this is looking good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and color this in. And here I'm starting to go a little bit faster, but I'm doing scribbly lines. So many kids love to do scribble, scrabble. They used to do it in kindergarten, and then the teacher told you had to stay in the lines. This is the perfect project for you. You're just going to scribble on there in circles and in lines. I even picked up some orange because I thought maybe he was feeling offended first from his extremities, and then it started to move in more and more. However you want to show your color monster and the colors that you're using to match the feeling that you think it shows, that's what you can use. You may have just noticed that I was going off to the side to test a color. You can gladly do that because we're going to be cutting these out anyway. Now, once you're finished, we are going to be cutting them out. Again, do not feel bad if you're having a hard time cutting. A lot of times, just the brand of scissor might be something that your hand says, I do not like this. That's why I have lots of different brands of scissors, so that if you find that there's a brand that works better for you, you go ahead and do that. So I'm going around. You're going to find it is a little bit annoying to go around all those jagged lines that you made, but you can do it. And then over here, you're going to be going back and forth. Now I'm going to show you a little tip. What I sometimes like to do is just to cut straight across, almost like I'm cutting along the top of my mountains. And then I kind of cut into that triangular shape and let those pieces fall off. If you like that technique, go for it. If you find it's taking you even longer, then don't. It's up to you. So I'm finishing cutting out, but the one thing I am going to remember is that when I throw away all my scraps or that we recycle them, you are going to keep the part of the paper that had your feeling word on there. You can just cut it out and you're going to keep that with your color monster. After this, you're going to choose a background color. I have a whole bunch of color options. When you pull out the color that you think matches your color monster, or you could even do a complementary color, please, when you pull it out, be careful to not disrupt the niceness of how we have that paper laid out. Now, Miss Eden's going to be sitting at the end of the table, and before you glue it down, she's going to look at how you spelled your word. On offended, she might make sure that you know that that's two F's there and not squished together. Or for like this person who's wrote down funny, she just might write it again for you to make sure that it's going to be spelled correctly. Once you have that all A-okayed by Miss Eden, you're going to go ahead and put glue on the back. Please make sure that you cap the glue stick, unlike I just did. I'll do it later. And when you place it down, remember we always flip it over and give it a nice long massage on every single part so that it sticks together. And now I'm going to use that piece of paper to remember how to spell the word. And I'm going to carefully write that along the top. If you don't have space, you can write it along the bottom. And then I decided to just add just a line there so it kind of looked like he was standing on the ground. I don't want you to add anything else. Here someone drew the word over and over and did a little bit of scribbling. I have one here where they just started doing a lot of different texture and lines around the edges. We're not going to do that. When I look here, this kid very carefully wrote furious along the top for their color monster. Calm. Look how calm they are. This one was hungry and tired. He looks it, doesn't he? Look at that face. And this last one, rejected. Now, as you're probably already thinking about your color monster, remember when you sit down, you're going to do 2 of those little pointy ears. You're going to do that zigzag going across, and then you can go ahead and work on the sides of your color monster. Go have